everyone, my name is Zola Adorazika. Okay, welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, you are welcome. And if you are new here, this is the place to be, no doubt. Can you click on the subscription button so you can be a part of what we're doing right here? And also do what to click on the notification bell so when we have new uploads, you can be notified. And I can assure you that each video you find here is going to be a source of inspiration, a wellspring of wisdom, and a guiding light in your life journey. Thank you, and God bless you.
You know, it's funny, but I mean, what you said is, I consider very profound because you've put it very simply, you've put it very, very concisely, and anybody who chooses to hear, you know, the way the Bible says that he who heard and hear, let him hear. Anybody who chooses to hear will find that is, well, maybe not necessarily as simple as that, but the truth is as simple as that. So navigating it may be what you need wisdom and help with, but the baseline is as simple as that. But I was going to say it's funny that your answers seem to preempt my questions, because I literally was going to ask if you ever get opportunities to do things that conflict your faith, and how do you respond to those?
I was having this very same conversation with Ezekiel in my child. I don't really get those kind of offers. So it's like the way you would not necessarily invite a chef to a banking seminar. You get, if you are going to invite him there maybe to make food, and he doesn't even necessarily need to know who is serving or. I don't get some offers, and I think it's because this part of my work, I think I was very vocal about it from the very beginning. Remember, I said that I came into photography with a foundation, with an expectation, with a representation. I saw a Christian, I saw a T.Y. Bello. So I already knew what I was coming here for and how I was coming as. And I mean, you can't go to T.Y. Bello's page and you will see things that will trigger you as a Christian. I mean, so that mold was already set for me. So I just followed thereafter. So, and after that order, I wasn't confused as to the kind of photographer that I was going to be. So, I mean, I think there are different types of photography worlds. So I think in my own world, there are some offers I get in my world. I don't usually get offers outside of my world. So I guess over time, as God announced our brand, it became synonymous to that Christian brand. So, but at the same time, it wasn't like I set out to make it like a Christian brand. But I just discovered that over time, it's Christians that are attracted to the kind of photography that I do, because the kind of work you put out will determine the kind of people that are interested in your work. Do you get? So over time, I'd only put out modest work, and then I was very vocal about my faith, about what I stand for, about how I look for God in people when I'm photographing them. And I mean, I didn't have to say I'm a Jesus boy, I'm a Christian. I photographed Muslims, I photographed unbelievers. I photographed traditional rulers that are heavy into traditional things, and I go there with my Jesus and I shoot. Do you understand? So I'm not a Christian service. I'm not a Christian bookshop. Do you get? I'm a photographer, but I know who I am. So it's like you being a doctor, right? But if you're a doctor and a woman comes to you with pain in her chest, you are bound to explore, you're bound to check. But the state of your heart when you're doing that is what matters between you and God. But there are also ethics that you will not cross and say, I'm not going to commit abortion for an underage child. Do you understand? You can do that as a doctor. You are trained to do it, but you can say, this is not me. This is not who I am. They can be committing fraud in your place of work and have an ethical name for it. And say, oh, we're just going to write it under Kiniko. Yeah, to the government, you have not committed crime. but you know by virtue of your faith that this is not correct. As a banker, somebody put money in your bank and then the person died, nobody to claim it, and then all of you just quickly chap, just, and you actually know in your heart of hearts that if you investigate, you will find at least one living relative that you can give that money to. But because you can always pass it off as no next of kin was registered to, and do you understand? So it's a very, very sensitive area. I have photographer friends that, do many shoots. I've assisted one of my organs for a shoot before. After that shoot, I was not okay for weeks. Do you understand? I wasn't okay because I was just like, my man was just as a church boy coming from Osun State, Kirele. And then, I had to leave. And then I said, Yemi, sorry, I've spoiled you. I don't forget saying you na church boy you be. I say my man don't carry this kind of thing. And because that's who I am. So I would naturally not flow into those things. So but to each his own, like I said, I can't say, oh, you that are doing this one, you're going to rot in the lake of fire. You're a Christian, I'm a Christian. The Holy Spirit in you is not a different version from mine. At the end of the day, we all have different scores to settle with God. I'm not going to judge you as a fellow artist. I respect your work. I respect what you're doing. I respect the intricacies and the delicacy and the artistic idiosyncrasies of your own techniques and your ethics that guide you. But the main problem is when you start imposing yours on me. And then if I will be offended if you impose yours on me, then I don't also have a right to impose mine on you. Yep. So I will just live my life. If you see something in my life that you now want to tap into and say, Yemi, this thing is working for you. This thing is doing you. How are you doing it? I'll now say, you see, me, I don't used to do some things. There are some consecrations that I feel if you have adopted it, it might work for you. If that person now decides to now subscribe to my own consecrations, but we cannot impose consecrations on other people. Yes.
Right. So I believe that was a wholesome answer. It's and I believe it will also be a guide to many people that are coming up, because I find that one of the things that makes some of those things attractive for the most part is because it looks like it's more rewarding than doing the traditional, doing the conventional thing.
Should I shock you? It's not as rewarding. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not as rewarding. At least in this part of the world, it's not as rewarding. Sometimes when you see people that do fly naked body and do all sorts of things, alone also. Oh yeah, alone. How much was this shoot? How much? Let's tell us the money. It's not that expensive. They don't pay that much money. Nudity is cheap. Before it might have been, now it's not. They don't pay them that much. They don't pay them that much. Is your Pablo. Do you understand? I want to prove that they have something. People that actually have money, they don't need to show off their body to tell you that they do have money. People that will pay you premium for your work are not trashy, low-class people that want to just show. Like, it's a mind conditioning. The moment I see a woman and the first thing she's showing me a big chest or a bum, I'm like, so you are saying now that in all the things in the world that you can show me that you have, this all you've got.
So it defines you.
Like, do you get? I mean, yeah, nice body shape, beautiful, aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. But after that, now, are you saying that this is all you have to offer, or what a shame? Do you get? So when you see, go and check the women that are making waves in the world. They are not women that are. Do you know, what are you selling? Yeah, we work with them. Or more when you see powerful women, you well covered from head to toe, but you'll be shaking. The command that they, like, when a woman walks into the hall and everybody's on their feet. this is power. I photograph billionaires. You see power, you see influence, you see wealth. You're like, or four. And you'll be like, and a woman is talking, and then the intelligence and wisdom that they are dispensing, the way they are conjuring information, and they are, this is what we are talking about. Like, you can't just do them like this because you're a guy. Sit down there and listen. You understand? That's real power. That's real influence. So when we see all these things, do like this, you're just playing. I don't even have to tell them that is this playing. This is playing. You are still small. Do you understand? You are tiny you are very tiny in the grand scheme of things. Àwọn yayin gan tó ń ṣe gan, we know how they are. Do you understand? So when people say it pays more, I'm like, no, it don't. Come. So you can see, come and hear figures. Do you understand? There are some meetings that I follow some of my mentors for, and I don't know what they are saying in that meeting. But when I leave that meeting, my self-esteem increases just because I'm hearing figures. Do you understand? The fact that I'm just hearing the figures alone, I'm just hearing figures. All right, so you know what? Let's just they still want 600 million for that. All right, you know what? Give them 600 and then keep 2 billion for these other people. But mama, we have to actually the API integration sandbox, something, and then that's going to be like 40 billion. I'm like, okay, you know what? Keep this one as hey, we're just starting. And then you see, I was at a shoot 2 weeks ago, and the woman just came to me, Yemi, can I just quickly have your Wi-Fi? Because we were shooting on location, and the internet of that place was just acting all up. I just said, Yemi, please now, I need your Wi-Fi urgently. I said, what's up? She said, I ironically sent some money to a woman, and then it's a wrong transfer, so I just want to quickly clip it. I'm like the way you're shaking self. How much did you transfer? She said about 375 million naira. I was like, Take the Wi-Fi. Have you sorted it? I'm like, how will you just do mistake and send 375 million naira? Mistake.
Oh my God.
And you said so I look like the lady. So as you are like this, you can mistakenly send 275 million naira to somebody. So that much money is in your control. Do you get? So and these are women that when you see them, they don't. I can't guarantee other vices that they partake in their own personal life. But what I'm still saying in essence is that the industries that people perceive to be the most is paying more, and so that let's quickly is not. It's not. The more you grow, the more you realize that, look, on many levels we are playing. If you get to where the big boys actually roll, a lot of things don't matter. And then you discover that the simpler the better. So my charge to young photographers that are coming up, young believers, don't let anybody come and use bread to pack your stew and tell you that you have to do this one. See, stay with God. Just stay with God. Anything that God cannot give you, if God cannot give me, I don't want.
Not worth having.
Do you understand? It's not, I don't want. If God cannot give me, or if God will not give me, then I don't want. But most of the things that we want in life as believers are things that God has not given us, or things He will not give us. And then you now want to have it from outside. We're at trouble. I mean, so I've seen too much to know that God pays. We've seen everything. Like, it's not like we've seen everything. We've seen a lot. The only thing is that you can just scale it. But we have seen. I mean, by the grace of God, I've entered into spaces in Lagos where I've only dreamed of as a child. The day I entered Banana Island, I was like, could you buy no law? Do you get? 1 billionaire in Lagos, the house is like this, the house is like this. And I think it's just because at a point in time in my life, I've prayed for the spirit of contentment. There's nothing in this life. See, Olga, there is nothing. And I feel like believers need to understand, especially if you are in entertainment, if you are in the creative industry, could see anything. See, once you experience it like this and you see it like this, that's the end. I mean, I've been to places where come and see luxury cars just parked. Dusty. And it's not luxury car of Rolls Royce, 1940 something vintage Rolls Royce in Nigeria. Packed and dusty. Nobody's riding it. I better compounds that Range Rover, then Jeramole. Plenty. Range Rover. I was not like, I can just ask for this thing. They just give me a scrap. Don't worry, I'll send my Benz and fix this. Like, so you get to a point where, and the human mind is designed in such a way that when you have it, you're done with it. Right? Yeah. The moment you have it, you're done with it. And you're looking for the next thing again to give you the next truth. You're done with it. You're looking for the next. At the end of the day, me myself now, I'm not a billionaire yet, by the grace of God. But I want to be. But I've entered into billionaire spaces, and in my mind, I'm saying, you're fine. And you want to design video, try. If I only want me, when my man just like, guys, my guys, if like we've entered into better spaces. So what that does for us is it just allows us to comport ourselves like, hey, well, really, do you get? We have seen wealth, even if we have not handled it like that. But we have seen it. So we cannot go into spaces and then nobody can just come and say, well, the people that have handled it, we've seen how they live. I was fortunate enough to meet a very wealthy billionaire, and she was telling us the price of a piece of furniture. She's a believer. And then when we got there, she took us to a new building in a very prime area in Lagos. And then when we got there, I was wow. See house. And then there was this chair that was just, it looked like something that was generated by AI. Like it was so futuristic in design. I'm just like, wow. And then she said, when she told us how much she bought that piece of furniture, we're like, it don't help. I don't tell her. And then when the woman saw that, probably she has injured our hearts by telling us how much that piece of furniture cost. I think she then proceeded to fix our hearts. You know what she said? She just called two of our household staff to remove the nylon from the chair because it's a new site. They're just moving there. She just took us there to, because you're going to photograph the whole place, She just told, can they remove the plastic on the chair? So they removed all the nylon and everything. And then she was now asking the chair. She was like, chair la son here now. Me and my guy were wondering what was happening here. I started speaking to the chair. She was like, chair, damn me low now, only sorrow. She timba sad. She only comfort me. Timba was down, she only encourage me. Timba lose faith me, she only preach to me. She only solve problem. Chair la son here now. You're nothing. And then she proceeded to sit on it. Like deep. You know what just happened there? She was just like, at the end of the day, it's a bloody thing. She sat on it, she then looked at me, she said, Jesus is the only satisfaction ever. She teared on me. And she said, so what she was telling us is none of all these things. Nothing. Just a bloody chair. She was talking to that chair, she was talking to herself, she was talking to us. These things don't. See, I've seen cars that all these small Yahoo boys that are parading themselves up and down, even in Lagos. I've seen cars that like rotting, luxurious cars in compounds that you just be like, I've seen mansions rot. Like when you say you're going to a rich man's compound, do you understand? And then you're still driving, and then you're seeing houses, and they're telling you, no, that used to be the old places where staffs used to be, but they've moved them. And then you are seeing 14 floors, empty. Before you get to where the Baba is safe, you will not get to the Baba's house. billionaire. And he gets to the Baba's house. And then they'll be like, oh, sorry, are you the photography people? Yes, we are the photography. Sorry, we told you that you cannot post pictures of any. We are not going to post the pictures. And then we sit down, and then everything is echoing. As the girl is going upstairs, she's just the girl and the Baba. As the girl is going upstairs to go and call Baba, you can hear the co. And then one door will just open upstairs. Everything is echoing. The house is so big because we have to now look for where we are going to set up. Everywhere is dusty. That girl cannot clean the entire place. All the children of Baba have moved on. Everybody is cars, the Jera, everything. Maybe Baba is just driving one black Jeep. That's the only car he's using to go out. Driver will just be outside washing the car with one bucket. I'm like, all this wealth. The man is, you're not going anywhere with anything. There's a level of wealth you will amass that before you leave this world, everything will be rotting in your presence. And it's not because the wealth has finished, but at the point, you just know that it's there. So what next? So what I does to my own artist to tell me that, Yemi, calm down. So my own is just to love Jesus, represent Jesus, and show Christ. So when somebody is coming and say, this one, Washiba, I'm like, I want on Sheila no go. We can still see where. Do you understand? He's not. I saw a clip on Twitter on they said one rich guy in the 60s. They showed his house now in their village. Everything dead. The ballers of today now, if they, in the next 30, 40 years, if they show you where, sometimes when I look at pictures of Abiola's house when he was alive, and everything, there's a way they used to put all those wooden stuff on the wall, wooden panel walls. If you go to all these Eleganza hotel, all these presidential hotel, old hotels in Oshogbo, they will tell you that when Agui Rosie, when he came to Osun State, he be lower and they put his picture there like this, and then the whole place is smelly, and they be like, oh, this place used to be the eat place as a den, and I want to Jayingba and want jet to the fullest. But at the end of the day, everything, the world is going to move past where we are now. Today's trending is tomorrow's throwback. So it just keeps us grounded that what really matters, we are just, of course, we will do our own time. But at the end of the day, the world is going to move on. And what is the legacy that you're going to leave behind? So nobody should just come and try and bobo us. Like, if you don't do it now, you will die. There's nothing.
I would like us to talk about your crafts.
Okay.
And how you look at it as not just, taking pictures of people, but delivering value. And, the entire value creation, value delivery process, and how that distinguishes your business from a lot of other people, and what makes, one of the things that will ensure that people want to keep calling you again and again. Because I'm asking that question because I know that there's this general misconception, that people have, especially a lot of people in business, that if they just do a little in whatever their craft is and they pray a lot, they can always be favored and stuff like that. But I think it's important to be able, for anybody in the creative space or even in any human endeavor, it's important to communicate the importance of the values that will ensure that you are the best and most excellent at your craft, or as excellent as you can be.
I mean, you've said it. You've said it largely. Excellence, drawing from where you started from. Excellence is key in doing whatever it is you want to do. I don't believe in that, do a little, pray a lot. Fact, as a matter of fact, what I believe in is do your work as excellently, give it the best you can, as if you don't have God, as if you won't pray, and pray as if you've not done anything. That's the balance. So give your work 100%, give God 100%. Don't give it 50-50 and say they now make up 100. They are in different spaces, right? They work together. If you are trusting God to open the door for you, now imagine that, Daniel was in Babylon and then they not tell him to talk. He's not talking like a fool. Do you understand? It doesn't make sense. Like even when you get there has been a preparation for you, right? It was by divine ordination that David was going to kill Goliath. But before he killed Goliath, he had already done a lot. He had killed lion, he had killed bear, he had killed all those things. So he just saw Goliath as another enemy to kill, right? So that's just the way it is. You look at it and you say, okay, in my line of work, I'm going to be as excellent as I can be. I mean, I have several values that I imbibe.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Do you understand? I have several values that I imbibe that make me who I am. And most of those values are non-transferable. And that's why when I do workshops, I teach everything I know about photography. In fact, I can't remember what I was telling. Was it you? That I don't think there is anything I know in photography that I've not taught in my workshops. I don't know how to hold back in my workshops. Like I'll do everything that makes my work, but the only thing that I can't point to is who I am. The values that I've imbibed, the conversations I've been a part of, the mentorings that I've received, the impartations that I've received, the classes and seminars the mistakes I've made, the experiences I've had. I can't transfer that. And that forms a large part of how I work and why I work the way I work. Right? So if you want to learn photography, I'll teach you lighting, I'll teach you color grading, teach you retouching, teach you manipulation, teach you everything I know. But that doesn't mean that you're going to become me. What makes me is my background, my father, my mother, my friends, my boarding school experience, my OAU experience, my carryovers, my failures, my breakfasts, my everything that has happened in my life up until this point is what I channel into my photography. And that's what makes me who I am. So, and I say that at the beginning of my workshop to manage the expectations of my attendants so that you will not think that you will leave this workshop and you just automatically become Yemi King. Do you understand? What makes Yemi Kings photography is Yemi Kings and photography. So that's what makes Yemi Kings photography. So remove Yemi Kings from the photography, you just have photography. And the only thing I can teach you is photography. So for me, those values that I have imbibed over time and of which time cannot let us, go into it, excellence, excellence is like the top, because I think is one thing that my dad really, really tried to teach us, but I felt it was very hard on us. So I didn't get it. There are some things that they will teach you in the house. You will not get it. It's not when you go outside. Your parents, once your parents have tried on you, they say, you get. I think excellence is when you clean car for my dad will tell you to bat no moto watu wo legbe, wa wo niwaju, wa wo loke, watu lo seyin, watu wo pe. You now ask yourself, ṣé ó lè dá jù báyìí lọ? What he's saying is, have you come to your end? Have you given it your all? Are you sure that you can't do it in a better? Is this the best? Is this the best you can do? Right? If it's not the best you can do, you will now chop iya on top of it. So you knew that there was more. You just chose to give me less. You now go and give the best. So until when he is sure that you have exhausted yourself before he releases you. So cleaning my father's car was a rite of passage. The day I cleaned my father's car and he didn't have a complaint, was I felt like a man. And that's what I also bring into my photography. Remember I said my experiences. So when I'm working on an image, I'm like, is this the best it can be? My wife will tell me that, if you can concentrate on every other area of your life, the way you concentrate on pictures, you'll be more than this. But I take my time. I rush almost everything in my life. But when it comes to the work, I don't joke with it. You look at it very well. Is this the best that you can do to it? Is this the best I know to do to it? So sometimes I can be on an image for 6-7 hours, one photograph, and I'm just looking. My guys will be like, this image was done like 5 hours ago. I'm like, no. They will go. By the time they come back, I've done something else that was not there where they left. So it's until I'm sure that I don't think there is anything else I can do to this image Like I'm done. Or sometimes when my eyes start paining me, or when if you stare at the screen too much, there's the way your tummy just starts rumbling, you start getting screen sick. And I'll be like, you know what, I'm done with this picture. Or when the spirit of my ancestors say, my son is done. So giving it everything, do you understand? And learning as much as you can from anywhere you can. And for me, I enjoy learning. If you want to, like I say it so much, and I enjoy people that are show off. I like them a lot. I love it when you show off, when you show yourself that you are better than me. I love it. Oppress me, don't worry. Step on me, I'm your rock. But you see that thing that you are truly better than me at, I will take it before you go. I would say, hey, that thing, you did that. Show that's something I did. Yes, that's something you did. Can you just show me something? No, it's not very easy. It's just, hey, I just agree. Thank you very much. I've added it to my own. And I'll not be angry at you. But a lot of people, small thing. Is it because I went to go and meet him to teach me because separation is just talking to me anyhow? Don't worry, talk to me anyhow. Do you know how many people have talked to me anyhow in my life? Does it show on my body? You understand? So you grow up, because many of us are too proud in our hearts and in our humble hearts. We are too proud in our humble hearts to learn. Do you understand? Learn. All the insults, let it rain on you. Make all the sacrifices. But learn and grow. Don't stop. Keep researching, keep learning that, is this the best you can do? Look outside of Ibadan, look outside of Lagos, look outside of Nigeria. Always draw from international standard. Always try and just look at where the top in this our planet, this earth that we are in, there are many countries there. In this our own global, this thing I'm doing, I'm not the only one doing it. And there are some people that have actually dedicated so much and they have risen to the top, at least as agreed by everybody. Like, if you're a footballer now, you'll be a fool to not study Messi, Ronaldo, to not study them. Like, you will be a fool to not study the greats. So, study the greats, copy them, put your own originality, and then before you know it, you become one of them. Now, Messi and Ronaldo look like the two greatest footballers of our time. It is not of all time, they're just of our time, because somebody else, another of all time, is still in one academy that is coming. So, Maradona had his own time. Ronaldinho had his day. Pele, they were so if you're a footballer, you'll be a fool, and I can say that with all authority. To not study the greats, right? Most of the dance moves that Michael Jackson gave us on stage, that he popularized, he didn't invent. Most of those moves are already done by James Brown. Not
James Brown.
not that James Brown, by the legendary James Brown. You know what I mean? And then, so when it took influences from here, and then you do. So you look at, if you're a photographer or whatever it is that you're doing as a Christian creative, just ask yourself, it is not a novel something that you're doing. There are people that have done it better, ahead, and they have been celebrated on a global stage. Go and study them. Go and break down their work, break down the principles that make them work, and then apply those principles to you. And then over time, before you know it, imagine if you're copying or you're learning from a world-renowned photographer, and then in your own little Ibadan way, you are doing it. Before you know it, Ibadan people will just know that your own is different, right?
Yes.
Because you are drawing from a very, very very heavy source. And at the end of the day, when everything comes together, you study the greats to become great. You study them, you learn from them, absorb from them, flip it around, make it work, standardize it, localize it, mix it up, and then something comes. So those are principles that I have learned to apply. Listen, mentorship, I'm very strong on mentorship. I don't care what any Gen Z has to say about mentorship. Mentorship, discipleship is still the way that God still raises men. I can't respect you if you just rise from nowhere. You are dangerous. You can't just rise from boom like that, and we can't trace you to any lineage. It's Mami Wala that has to come out of ocean like that. Like, it's only demons that operate that way. Do you get what I'm saying? They just appear boom from nowhere. Even demons are coming from hell. right? Even Lucifer has a source. We know where he was an angel created by God, fell, and then even Lucifer, we can't. The only person we cannot trace is God. So if you are coming and then you have to attach yourself to somebody, you have to learn, you have to ride on the shoulders of somebody, and then they will protect you, they will cover you. Most of the things that took them 10, 15 years to learn, they can in 1 hour just give you the lesson it took them 10, 12 years to learn. And then so that you don't have to use 10, 12 years to learn it. So I just feel mentorship, excellence, learning. There are a whole lot of things that I have imbibed that makes me me, and the kind of person I am reflects in the kind of photography that I do. If I were to be doing any other thing, the kind of person I am still reflects in how I do those things. And that's what makes the difference between myself, yourself, him, and every other person here. Who we are is what determines how we do what we are doing. So if you are a careless person, you'll be a careless photographer. If you are a dirty person, your business will be dirty. If you are just anyhow, if you don't have integrity, your business will not have integrity. Your staff will not have integrity. So it will just permeate. So that's why you can tell the kind of person an individual is from the kind of works, because you cannot be far from your works. By their fruits we shall what? No. That's what it means. Because we can tell from what you are going to give birth to, the kind of person you are. So if you want to know who an artist is, you can't be far, you can't be too apart from your art. Check the kind of art you generate, the kind of things you release into the atmosphere. If you want to know the kind of person a comedian is, just listen to their jokes. You would know. If you want to know the kind of person a preacher is, just listen to their messages. You will know. That's it.